wanted to start with some, warm-up
Casual
questions.
stuff. Warm up. Then we get to the hard
Not the hard stuff. We
The
just
quiz.
get to the
They're all
core
fun.
stuff.
Yeah.
No, but I just wanted to, we came up with this question earlier today. We started talking about who was Gloria before? Like, what did you want to be as a kid? Like, who did you want to be? Who did Gloria Larson want to be as a child?
I wanted to be an attorney.
Huh.
And
Well, you did it.
And I did it, yeah. And it's interesting given the controversy now. But I grew up in part in the South, and Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird was my hero. And now we have this different book coming out that puts him in a different context. But I'll tell you what I loved about To Kill a Mockingbird and Atticus Finch. Small town lawyer in the South. This takes place, in the 1950s, and in a very different world here in the United States, heavily segregated South. And Atticus Finch defends, as you know in the novel, an alleged rapist who didn't commit the crime. And he happens to be African American, and the guy who did actually commit the crime is white. And what I loved about Atticus, put aside today's controversy about, well, was he really, I think he was a product of his time. So was he still someone who saw differences in the races? Possibly. But here's what I loved about Atticus Finch. He believed that justice and the criminal justice system should be applied equally to all in an era when not many people believed that. So regardless of who he was in terms of his overall mindset, I still believe that he was, this fictional character was someone who believed in doing the right thing. Universally believed in doing the right thing. And that's the kind of law practice that I wanted to have. So I was 12 years old when I read the book, and I knew exactly then what I wanted to do and what I wanted to be.
That's amazing. That's an
and
amazing
I held
story.
to that thought. I also
not everybody holds true to their dream.
I also wanted to be Nancy Drew. Now, you won't know too much. You probably know nothing about Nancy Drew.
Not really.
No. Nancy Drew is another fictional character. She's a girl detective. And she, her dad was a lawyer. So I knew that. I read all of Nancy Drew's books. And here's what I loved about her. Nancy Drew had, she was the kind of girl that was universally well-liked, but she too always did the right thing. She was someone who could solve a mystery in 48 hours time. She could save a drowning swimmer. She could take someone who got something in their eye to the hospital, and she had great friendships and was, someone who had this great boyfriend and a great family, and she was always impeccably dressed in matching skirt and heels while she was doing all these things. And I knew at age 8, when I read my first Nancy Drew book, that I wanted to grow up to be Nancy Drew. To this day, I constantly talk about solving problems through the lens of Nancy Drew. And what I found out recently is that in the last couple of years, because I use her in a lot of my speeches to women's groups about how you grow into leadership roles, what I found out recently is 3 female U.S. Supreme Court justices and Hillary Clinton also cite Nancy Drew as an amazing force in their own formative growth. How funny is that? So, that's a little window on my own thinking.
She's Nancy Drew is basically like a female
Hardy Boys.
Like literally, like Hardy Boys are like a female Wonder Woman.
Yes,
she just
yes.
Gets,
for
she just
a
gets it
whole,
done.
it started. The book started to be written in the 1930s. A whole series of authors have penned Nancy Drew books because they couldn't keep to the same. Carolyn Keene was the first one. So long story short, I recently saw on a website a collection of vintage Nancy Drew books. I just bought them and they were delivered to my house last weekend on the Cape. How funny is that?
Awesome.
I now have a vintage collection of Nancy Drew books.
That's funny. A buddy of mine who I sit and we eat lunch all the time is actually telling me that you dine at one of the football players' uncle's restaurants on the Cape all the time. Brian Hardy is his name, but he's telling me Chris Soule's uncle, I believe.
And do you know which restaurant it is?
Can't.
Oh, I know which restaurant it is. It's Pan d'Avignon. His uncle is Mayor. Oh my God!
Yes.
No, of course.
Yes.
I'm very close. Oh my God! And he has a business idea.
Sold, yeah.
So, right, who he said his uncle sent me an email, and I said, no, they should send me the
Chris,
email.
yeah, Chris,
so
Chris.
tell him that.
I'll talk to Chris.
How funny is that? Mario! Oh my God, we just saw Mario last weekend.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is so great.
Yeah, I was just talking to her about
Cape's
that.
a very small world. Cape Cod's very small. And we've known Mario forever.
Oh, okay.
For prior restaurant incarnations.
That's
So
awesome.
he's a great guy.
Awesome. All right, so on to our second question. I came up with this and I was just asking, did you have any mentors? Well, then again, outside of Nancy Drew, or specific supporters that
Yes.
who served as a catalyst to who
Yes,
you are today?
absolutely.
Okay.
And I was very fortunate when I was a young lawyer, recently out of law school, and I went to work for the Federal Trade Commission. That's my background. I was a regulatory lawyer, consumer protection, antitrust law, and I got selected out of the 400 or 500 lawyers at the FTC to go work for one of the commissioners. They're presidentially appointed, the only woman commissioner. There were literally only a handful, possibly half a dozen women who'd been presidentially appointed to high-level positions in government when I went to work for her in the early 1980s. She was a formative force in my life. I never again questioned that women could break through the glass ceiling. I went to work for a woman in 1981 who already had broken through. It changed my whole outlook on everything. Then later, when I was practicing law outside of government, she talked me into going back to Washington in a high-level position myself at the FTC, and helped me get the post. So she wasn't just a mentor, she's what's called a sponsor. She sponsored me for that next stage of career development. Later I went to work, just a few years later, I went to work for Governor Bill Weld here in Massachusetts. I was in his cabinet. My first position was Secretary of Consumer Affairs and Business Regulation. He called me into his office one day and said, Gloria, do you know anybody, the Secretary of Economic Affairs, our Minister of the Economy, is leaving his post, and I was wondering if you had any candidates. And I almost talked myself out of the job because I named 5 other people and never named myself. And I'll never forget him saying, Gloria, I called you in here because I thought you were the right person for the job. Then I had to dig myself back out of this hole that was halfway to China at this point. So Governor Weld gave me the post, and that's incredible sponsorship because he took me from one position, put me in a much higher profile position in state government, and was fabulous opportunity.
That's awesome.
So I had 2 people who were both strong mentors to me. One, a high-level woman in Washington, and the second, the governor of Massachusetts, who literally changed the trajectory of my career.
Awesome.
At a still young point in my career, relatively young point.
Definitely. So, for our third question, we're going to actually start jumping into some Bentley questions.
Okay.
So, I just wanted you to describe your Bentley experience in 3 words, and what would they be and why?
Okay, my 3 words.
That don't have paratus in it.
Don't have what?
Paratus.
Oh, or prepare.
Or prepared.
Okay, now, I would say 3 words that describe my experience at Bentley would be rewarding, authentic, and inspirational.
Wow.
So rewarding because I think you millennials are changing the face of the world, and I think you're doing it at an accelerated pace. And without getting teary-eyed about it, emotional about it, I am so enamored with your ability with the right level of preparation, education, real-world experience combined with all the things we do so well at Bentley. I think that you have the ability to change the way the organizational world operates on a global scale. Individually in your own organizations, here at Bentley and beyond, but all together I think the millennials and the generation that's following you, the Z-Gen, will literally change things. And the reason I say that quickly is because I think you're the first generation to actually integrate profit with people and the planet. You think in triple bottom line thinking. You think that organizations aren't just about making a profit, that they're change agents in the world around them too, and that they have to be if we're going to have a sustainable culture and if people are going to thrive on our planet. So I also said rewarding because every single day I get up and come to work and think I have the best job on the planet because of the faculty, the staff, and the students that we have at Bentley. This is a very special, tight-knit community. The culture is one that is energizing for me every single day, and just is, I think, a spectacular place to study. And as a lifelong learner myself, I'm learning something every single day here at Bentley. And the third one was authentic. Everything about Bentley is trying to do the right thing. We're the business school that has in our country the oldest, long-standing Center for Business Ethics. We thought about ethics long before there were numerous scandals on Wall Street and beyond. And we're also broadly about social responsibility. Before coming to Bentley, I knew Bentley was a place that believed in this people, planet, profit kind of thinking when it comes to the business world. So we're change agents who've long been change agents, and we're not inventing it now that it's popular to talk in those terms. It's part of our DNA.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. So in terms of graduate students, we wanted to ask you a question. Why should students choose Bentley University over another academic institution for graduate school?
Well, there are four really basic, well-integrated reasons. The first is that our curriculum is of the moment, directly attached to the marketplace, because we're a place that has long thought that business has to be combined and fully integrated with liberal arts thinking. So it's business disciplines combined with creativity and critical thinking, and it's that capacity to integrate that thinking across the MBA programs, across the MS programs, that is incredibly distinctive about Bentley. Our having one faculty, this notion of a unified faculty of business and arts and sciences, makes us think differently in a really important respect, because an innovation economy can't be based just on business thinking. It has to be about creativity. It has to be about critical thinking, about teamwork. And I think we do that differently because we're a single cell institution. We're a standalone business university that knows that this innovation economy requires left and right brain thinking, and that's very distinctive. The thing that's also distinctive about us is hands-on learning, experiential. We're all about that.
Definitely.
We're all in the classroom. It's applying what you're learning to problem solving that directly affects the corporate world. In the field work that we offer, in the internship opportunities, whether it's undergrad or grad school, we're all about the real world orientation. I think that's a huge hallmark for Bentley, and something that we should never ever think about changing, but only continue to make better and better and expand the opportunities. And the third thing is the ability to apply technology across business functions, the 7 learning labs, the fact that Bentley has this, on-campus capacity to have you. Yeah, there you go. To take what you're learning and to use technology as an enabler, whatever the area, the discipline is that you're studying, whether it's broad-based through an MBA program or through a distinctive MS program, those technology enabling capabilities are something that, again, if we ever lose this, shame on us. And then the fourth area, I guess, that I think I would emphasize is that we think hard about what you do when you leave Bentley. We want our alumni community to be consistently and constantly, continuously attached to us, and so we make a big deal out of career planning. It's not just for undergraduates, it's for grad students too. Whether you're going to stay in your field in an organization, go back into an organization where you've already worked, whether you're doing a professional degree while you're working and you just want to continue up the promotion ladder, we'll help you there. But also if you want to make a change, and lots of our students do, they come to graduate school because they want to move into something else, to another organization, even a different field. And we try to enable that too. So it's that hands-on capability that our career services staff has that I think it's not just at the front end through the admissions office, it's at the back end of the process too.
It's funny you bring up technology, because as a freshman, we were using Peachtree software, where I had no idea what Peachtree software was for accounting. I was like, what is this? And the fact, they teach you how to use it, I believe, is it KPMG or is it EY? EY comes in because that's what it was using.
Yes. EY are the ones who did us the combined accounts.
Right, and then they show us how to use Peachtree. And I was, as a kid, we're like, oh, this is awesome.
How-
You know what I mean? And it's like when we use Bloomberg and stuff like that. Now it's a part of the curriculum to be Bloomberg certified as a finance major. So that's just something. I just think that's
How cool is that?
It's amazing.
And then what about this idea that as a school, we're the first university to partner with Bloomberg, the media outlet? You know, it's just,
The
what?
radio.
I didn't even
Oh
know that.
yes, you're brand new.
Yeah.
I do a monthly show in New York, an hour-long show in New York on radio about millennials and about the
And
whole
they
new
came on
world of
campus
people.
as well. So
And they come on, yeah, it's not just that we do it there, they come on campus several times a year.
That's
They'll
awesome.
probably be here for convocation this year.
Wow.
You know, we're the first university and the only one right now. So every 5 minutes on air, they say Bloomberg in a strategic partnership with Bentley University, and they acquired a company and they're now across they're on airwaves across the entire country. It's not just Bloomberg Boston, Bloomberg San Francisco, and of course their home headquarters is New York. They're now everywhere.
Bloomberg
So
USA.
well, it
and
would be
we're-
interesting because in Turkey, Bloomberg partnered with a news company on TV, Haberturk.
yes.
It would be interesting to put Bentley's commercial on there in Turkish.
Well, what you're saying is interesting because I just talked to our partner there in New York. They are moving into Asia and they're moving into Europe in a much more widespread way. And I've said, gee, you know, we are giving you content for the U.S. How about thinking about it globally? I'm positive they will. They love us as a partner. So the content. The other thing I'd say that is so special for grad students to think about is the orientation of our faculty. Our business faculty, when you think about the MS programs and the MBA program, and of course arts and sciences faculty there too, but think about the business faculty. Their research is almost always applied research real time. What they're thinking about, what they're researching is to solve current business problems. So you have many of them practitioners in former lives, some of them still practitioners who do this part-time teaching, but those in the classroom full-time have a strong real world attachment that they continuously upgrade with their own research. So I think it's that real-time thinking about problem solving. It's not dated thinking. It's all constantly being refreshed and bringing in concepts to the classroom and real world problem solving that they're doing. So I think the fact that our research is so relevant to the organizational world is important too.
I agree. So, we don't have to go over this question because you answered that one.
I have a habit for somehow when people interview me for answering 5 questions at once that
No.
they put down on their
It was only 2 this time,
Okay,
so we're
good.
okay. We wanted to ask about corporate partnerships because you know, as graduate students, we want to know who's going to hire us and stuff like that. So
They're alive and well.
Yeah. So I also
We've sure got a lot of them. Well, you know what? That's an excellent question, and I'll tell you why. Because it made all the sense in the world when Ernst & Young had this great idea with some of our faculty here to put in the earliest, you know, your first 2 years to connect finance with education, with accounting education.
Right.
Bentley was the logical place to come to because of our unified faculty.
Right.
Our finance faculty talk every day to our accountancy faculty. The ability to combine these in the classroom, to have the materials reflect that, was something that E&Y knew we would have. They could have gone to any number of major, big deal, big name, you know, bigger universities without naming too many names, but they could have gone to the University of Texas, where we're one of their top 5 recruiting places, but so is UT, so is Michigan. They could have gone a lot of other places.
Right.
They came to Bentley because they knew we were the right corporate partner to strike this type of learning experience with. So it just makes a lot of sense. For example, Santander came to Bentley because they want to send more of our students to study abroad. So they said, you are a logical place because the study abroad will directly relate to the organizational world, which Santander is all about.
Is that why we have the scholarship now for
Yes,
study abroad?
yes, that's why, because again, so those are just 2 examples of, but the number of employers who come here for both undergrad and graduate students is astounding. All you have to do is go to our career fair twice a year. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Bigger universities don't have anything to compare to that. 140 employers on campus. all day, twice a year, is just incredible. And they represent every sector and every size of organization. So of course you have the big deal, huge, household name companies, but you also have the startups. You have what I call new economy companies coming in, the wind farms, the tech companies, the biotech companies. That's really cool to know that every sector's covered and every type of company and organization. So say if you're here with an interest in sustainability science, but you're getting your MSF to go along with it, you know that those types of companies are coming to Bentley too. And every year we're building that roster so that it's getting bigger and bigger and more global. I would say more global. We started out, our focus of course is in our own backyard. Easy to do, and we have major companies here like State Street or EMC or Raytheon. So of course the big four, of course they're going to be here. Well beyond that now. We're well beyond that now, and that's great. And we'll keep expanding that base, particularly at the grad school level, because obviously the kids who are coming here for grad school who aren't working at the same time are coming from across the world map.
So I had an interesting question. What company hires the most out of Bentley? Is there actually a company that hires?
Yeah, and I'm going to make you go to career services for that. I'll tell you, undergraduate, I'm pretty sure it's Liberty Mutual right now. I'm pretty sure it's Liberty Mutual. I don't know at the grad school level. I just know that, Vistaprint, and you can start to name, obviously, the big four. Any of the kids who are getting their MSA, they know Grant Thornton, big four, they're automatically headed for these companies.
Okay, so we're all loving the fact that the graduate school is doing such a phenomenal job with our students and stuff like that.
Aren't you thrilled? Because we've always considered our undergraduate school our crown jewel.
Right.
And it is. Our undergraduate school continues to be a crown jewel. It's the one that gets top 20 Business Week ranking. And I know, Maria. I know it's 11:30, but we'll talk fast.
Okay.
But what I wanted to say about that is that. But I completely lost my train of thought because Maria's
undergrad.
Oh, I'm sorry, the undergrad. So, but here's the deal. We've known for the 8 years that I've now been here how important it is to continue to add additional capacity at the grad school level. And so our strategic focus has been equal parts grad school. That's really reflected in the flagship MBA, the BMBA, my gosh. It's reflected in the new Emerging Leaders program, and we carefully divided those to make really strong, rational, marketplace-based sense. The part-time program has been added to. I have to say a few words about business and marketing analytics. We have grabbed hold of big data in a way that is so compelling. Similarly, our human factors in design, the user experience. These are incredibly important of the current, marketplace niche programs that will continue to hold us in good stead. Look at the numbers of young people who applied to come into our business analytics program just off the ground. You guys would know much better than I do. Just literally as you're launching to have that level of interest. And now we're going to be doing a degree completion program, which we'll be launching in January for those who finished part of college but not the entire. So it's not yet at the grad school level, but those students will go on too. So it's returning military, it's women who've been home with kids, it's people who various reasons got an associate's degree but weren't able to get their college degree. As of January, we'll be launching a degree completion program.
Awesome.
But to the grad school point, I think your question has a really important aspect to it. The important aspect is we need to be treating, and we are, as we have been for at least the last 10 years, the grad school as an equal partner to the undergrad school. And I think everyone on campus is united as a team behind that endeavor, which I think is great. It will add what is a huge halo effect to the whole university, to have a graduate school that's an equal partner and an equal match in terms of the rankings and otherwise. And as you know, some of our MS programs are extremely well-ranked programs. So, and we're working in the MBA to get back into that,
And Bentley MBA newly ranked as well.
As FT would be the BMBA, that's our goal, FT 100.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Now I understand that you're very time sensitive right now, so I don't want to get into some of these other questions because we were asking about the Olympics and the Massachusetts Conference for Women and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, you've got great content. They're all my favorite things.
Are we doing mass conference for women again?
The mass conference for women?
The one that happened with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah,
Are we
I'm the
going
president of it.
again? All right.
No,
Is that,
believe me,
like, are we
believe
going all the time?
December.
We're
No,
doing
it's our 11th year.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm going to be away. This is my first year to miss it at I'll be at a corporate board meeting. But here's the deal. We haven't announced the speakers yet, and we're still fine-tuning who it will be. But every year, they have been off the charts speakers. I mean, last year, Lupita and Hillary
I was so
Clinton.
moved with Lupita.
She was unbelievable. Yeah. She was unbelievable. You came because we had the BMBA.
I had the social roundtable. We were there for the recruiting part aspect. But,
of course you were for the grad school. I forgot we did.
But when I went into the speakers lounge, one of the press people came in and said, "Are you going to be taking photos of Hillary and Lupita?" And I said, "Sorry, but I don't have a press badge." They gave me a press badge.
One.
And I took photos with like Associated Press, Boston Globe people there.
Perfect.
They got us close to Hillary too. It was nice.
So do you know we have one of our graduates there? I'm having.
Funda was there. Funda Sarıca.
From what?
Funda, the Turkish girl?
No. I'm thinking about an undergrad who graduated several years ago who got his master's in journalism at American University. He's now, he's on Hillary full-time for CNN.
Wow.
And he was there. So we had this great reunion. I saw him this summer because he just came back for his 5th reunion. Awesome guy. But he's on the permanent Hillary trail. But so this year, yes, we'll be back. I don't know. I've got to talk to Chip. I'm hoping the school will still be separately.
Of course,
Separately, I'm part of a small group of women who started this now 11 years ago, way before it was before I came to Bentley. But this was our 10th anniversary last year with Lupita was outstanding. She was outstanding.
It was so inspirational.
Oh, and Hillary was too, but Hillary's just good.
We expected her to announce her candidacy and didn't happen.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh well. But yes, that's going to continue, and yes, I'm continuing to work on. I'm on the executive committee of Boston 2024, and it's and I just got back from London a month ago. I spent a week in London with all the schools in London, the universities and colleges, 44 of them that did the London Games in 2012, and it really cemented my view that our world-class institutions only adds more capacity to host the Olympics. Our schools will be, as they were, directly involved, all of them. You know, they had 44 schools involved, and they don't have the athletic facilities. The games were not cited at London schools. Our games will be played at Harvard, MIT, Northeastern, the Aganis Center, BU, my gosh. The games will, of course, there'll be a stadium, and UMass Boston will be the village. I mean, it's going to be, if we land this, it'll be, and I know there's still a lot of controversy. It's Boston. Boston always starts with the word no, and then you work back to yes. But if we get this in 2017, if the IOC picks us, it will. London gained, and London is already a world-class city. You might say, do big cities need this? To a person that I spent that whole week with, to a person they said, tourism is way up, the schools all benefited from additional international students, everyone benefited hugely from the London Games, which are considered to be the best so far. That have ever, so I think we could, in 2024, we could do a remarkable job.
Hopefully we can get discounted tickets to students.
Absolutely. You'll be, exactly. Well, right, 2024. Well, we'll be way into the Z generation by then. I mean, this is still a ways off, but still, and Bentley will be a training camp for a country. Every school in the region will be a training camp. We will have every dorm room filled. Some country will fully occupy. It will be awesome.
It'll inspire more active living for the college environment for students even.
So we'll definitely probably do some more renovations, make sure more homey for, I mean, not saying
all
it's
of
not,
that.
but
All of that. Well, that's the other thing I'll say about grad students without, I don't want to put this out in the ethersphere, but, we're thinking all the time about how do we make this more of a community for graduate students, which I know.
They're all up in north most of them.
Yeah, and it's just harder because it's not a residential place largely for grad students the way it is for undergrads. So student life here is so undergrad focused,
Right.
almost out of necessity. We are a place-based school for all these kids. Having said that, we're working really hard to make it more of a community and a home
Sure.
for every day, every year. I think it's getting better, but we still need great ideas. You guys are in the prime place to generate all this good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I have some ideas that I can help with. Maybe.
Good.
So we can actually just jump to in closing. I know it's very
Okay,
time sensitive to
thank
you. So I just wanted to ask you, what advice would you give any prospective students for the graduate school here at Bentley?
Those who
what
are applying?
You're right.
Apply to Bentley. Best programs imaginable. There's someone who's thinking about whatever point you are in your career thinking, there's something here for you that will help you achieve your goals.
That answers so many questions that I had. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day for this.
Right. Sorry I talk so fast. I've been described as a southerner on speed.
Oh, no. It's definitely, I really do appreciate this, especially, I'm just a small fish in a big pond.
Hardly.
So
You're an essential cog in this unbelievably important mission of ours. So you both are.
I appreciate you so much.
It's so much fun. I knew somebody was coming with a camera, but I know it's going to be you. It's like, wow. I'm so glad you're working with us too.
Me too.
Thank you
It's
for
good to
staying.
be back in the roots, really. Thank you.
I'm so glad.